Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's session on study option in USA. As per foreign education consultants and experts, US is the first choice for Indian students going abroad. But now, several students studying abroad plans have either shuttered or delayed due to lockdown restrictions imposed in various countries across the globe, leading to suspension of classes and visa processes due to COVID-19 situations. Today's webinar, we will come to know how American universities are navigate the education due to COVID-19 pandemic. To clear all our queries, we have selected expert and the eminent person, Mr. Abhinav Bajaj, Vice President, International Operations Study Metro, Bangalore. He did his MBA in Oregon State University. He is a passionate educationalist and study expert in US. He has more than 10 years of experience in placing students to the US universities with partial and full funding opportunities. On behalf of SJC family, I extend a hearty welcome to Mr. Abhinav Bajaj. I also extend hearty welcome to each and everyone present here. Now, I request Mr. Abhi to take the session forward.
Thank you so much. St. Joseph's Engineering College, Mangalore. I had an opportunity to visit the college about a year and a half ago. And I want to thank you for giving me an opportunity to talk to and interact with students who may be considering US as one of their option to study abroad. But looking at the opportunities given for engineering and computer science IT students, and in fact management students, you are learning a lot from the newspapers and from the news coming from the US about the uh, H-1B extension, green card extension, and now I see new rule about taking an on-campus or go from US to your country. So hopefully I will try my level best to get you some information which may be helpful for you to make a decision about studying in the US, or maybe is this the right time? So, although I don't want to talk much about me because she already explained this to you, I would like to just begin talking about it. Before I begin, I again want to thank Dinah ma'am for inviting me, and Mr. Rajesh for hosting this event. So the highlights will be that today we will be talking about education system in the US, and as you can see, the three tag lines which are mentioned is like one thing is. Um, while we are going through the tough situations around the world, what are the options those are available for you, and what are the advantages it brings to the international students? So we're going to be talking about it. When we think and plan to study abroad, we always feel like, how can we make it more affordable? And one common word which you have been learning about is scholarships. So maybe your friends, family members, neighborhood, or anybody from your seniors have gone to any country and you've heard of they got full scholarships or partial scholarships. But we also want to talk about some sort of assistantships which majorly possible from the grad engineering students. So we will talk about that. And technically, when you plan to study abroad, the first fascinating thing comes in mind is like, if I graduate from the university, then what kind of job opportunities can be given to me? So I am sure that we're going to talk about the forecasting of job opportunities in the next couple of years. So you know if you're making that decision and investing your 2, 3 years, then it should worth having a great life when you're planning to study in US. Before I begin with the US session, I also want to inform everybody that around the world, education and the quality is amazing. It's super. If you talk about Australia, New Zealand, Canada, UK, Ireland, European countries, But of course, today we are just talking about US. So I'll be more and more giving you information on US in case if you are interested in learning more about other countries, other universities. But we have certain experts who can certainly have another session with you or guide you. So I hope the screens are visible. If host can confirm that to me, you can see my second screen.
Yes, yes, we can see.
Sounds good. Okay. So this is where you can see a US, all the states. There are about 50 states. But technically, if you know California and New York on a much on a west and the east side. But you have some great states, and of course, California being one of the Silicon Valley of the um, US, where a lot of tech jobs are available. But if you look at on the west upper coast side, where Washington, Oregon is a state where I studied. Uh, and I think that's how the story begins. When you had an opportunity to study, you have learned the um, people, culture, jobs, and the quality of your life that you want to invest. So this is what we're going to be talking about in a nutshell, that how the US as an education system looks like. But before we talk about it, I also want to explain you that what Study Metro has been doing. It's been 10 years we are into this business. We are into this guidance, and then helping students from India, from outside India, who plans to study abroad. We also guide them about how you can make that affordable, get your scholarships. Um, the thing is that you should really know as an applicant that how you can elevate and have a good or a best right fit university coming down. So we are member of AIRC. If you do not know, that's American International Recruiting Council. The AIRC is one of the organization where they meet the quality consultants like us with the universities. So I was a former member to AIRC. I've served AIRC. I usually go every other year to Miami. This year it looks tough, but we have been going back and forth to meet the universities just to get the insight of what a university and visiting the campuses and all such things. So technically, we had an opportunity to bring students, send students, recruit students, looking at working on their profile, getting them 100% scholarships in their bachelor's, master's level. Even recent students from Hyderabad have gotten into one of the top university for PhD in industrial engineering. So I think we're going to have a lot of talk on this. And if a student to have affordability as a cushion and how you can secure some scholarships, maybe I can help you in some way today. This is where you can look at all the pictures from Los Angeles, Singapore, Portugal, Lisbon, Miami. So we are meeting universities, sending students. So we do a lot of events with the schools and the students at the same time. So let's talk about USA in a nutshell. So there are about 4,000 institutions in the US. When I say 4,000, it's 4,560 institutions as of date, but we call it like 4,000 plus institutions in the US. This US and both Canada, I will aid here because they give you a flexible education system for your higher education. You get a practical oriented course curriculum. What does that mean that you're looking at practical oriented course curriculum? Is that actually involves you a lot of CPT or co-op opportunities. And what CPT and co-op opportunity does basically is a cooperative education, which brings your education, which is your book knowledge, with your industry experiences. And universities do offer you the curricular practical training, which is related with your education. You can do work other than the class, so you gain the real knowledge, and the university do provide that. And I think that's one thing which I like about when I compare the Indian education system with the US education system, that they gives you more practical oriented knowledge than a book knowledge. Employers around the world prefers degree from the US, and I think this is one of the things is like it gives you a lot exposure, then giving you more opportunity of staying in the country. So if a student thinks of going for a country where I can be there forever. Maybe US is not a perfect choice for you, but in case if you want to go to any country or want to come back to India after, then US can give you the best exposure because employers around the world prefers the degree from the US. Employers also pays the highest salary to the um, students who have actually studied in the US. So, and why is this? Because when you are going to the technological world, so US dominates that. In fact, in health, I did my healthcare, so I know that US dominates the entire world's healthcare because they're bringing a lot of information technology into the healthcare, artificial intelligence into the healthcare, and it causes the technology differences where what research and the patents that they're working on, maybe it comes 5 years later to India or other countries. So you're basically going to a place where you are subject to the best learning outcomes, and the universities which are research based and the career based, career focus means where you graduate and you quickly get the job. And for you, the best information is go to pay scale, write MS in electrical engineering and salary. You can just play around with how much you can make, and we will discuss this in the later slide. Okay, so I know all of the listeners here are from bachelors, so we will be more talking about masters today. But just the education system after Indian high school gives you associate 2 years degree, 4 years bachelor's degree, graduate certificates. So students, if you are not looking for an MS, which is unlike because most of the engineering students go for a master's degree, which is called MS. But if you think that I don't want to invest my 2 years there, I want to just quickly go and come back, look for a graduate certificate from the universities, which you can gain. A graduate certificate can be a mechanical engineer student saying that I want to go and learn a graduate certificate in engineering management or renewable energy, and you have those certificates available. But most likely a student from India goes for a master's degree, which is MS degree, which stands from 1 year to 2 year. Now, when I say 1 year to 2 year, then remember that flexible education that I've spoke about. So 1 year is like you have 30 to 36 credits, mainly in a master's degree, sometimes also 42 credits. So 30 credits means 10 subjects. You can complete those in 1 year, 1.5 year, or 2 years. So university gives you sometimes those flexibility to finish your degree in 1 year to 1.5 years also. So that's called flexibility. Now, can be said this that I have already taken 1 or 2 courses on a master level in India and then I want to go to US or Canada. Can I? You can still go. That's flexibility that you can go for an evaluation, credential evaluation, get your degree or get your 2 subjects done, and that can be taken over their 2 subjects over there. So you have master's degree, doctoral degree, PhD or DBA, and then you go for a postdoc degree. Okay, I know that the most of the listeners are here from CSIT, mechanical civil, and this is what I'm going to be telling you here is like when you do a bachelor's in computer sciences, the next MS can be in computer science, can be in computer information system. That is your additional or more or higher education learning on the same subject. But US can be one of the countries where you can actually go and do specialization in one of the faculties, which can be artificial intelligence. You can go for a data sciences, or you can go for computer sciences with concentration in data sciences, computer sciences with concentration in machine learning, computer sciences with concentration in human computer interaction. But you want to get a computer science, a master's in human computer interaction. Is this possible? Yes, it is. You want to keep yourself into a blend of technology and management, you can go for MIS or MSIT degree. Nowadays, the emerging #1 job opportunities in the US are data scientists. So I am assuming that the students with the computer science or IT are thinking of taking data analytics, data sciences, business analytics related courses, or informatics and analytics. So why? Because the last research when I did, and I'll tell you where I'm doing all this research, is from Bureau of Labor Statistics, which tells you next few years what are the job opportunities going to be for other majors. So data scientists were 1,90,000 jobs just in the US, and in Canada there were 90,000 jobs. That's last year data. Maybe it can be more, maybe due to of COVID it can be less. So you look at, after CS and IT you can get into technical degree, you can get into management degree, or you can get into tech management degree. So you can also go for MBA in business analytics, MBA in IT, MS in business analytics, data analytics, artificial intelligence, software engineering, MIS, business information technology. So you got, and there are many other majors that you can still look at other than this 15 options, but this 15 options are the majority of students from India. When they go to US, they take one of this option. You can go for cybersecurity, you can go for information security or information assurance. So this is the MS track for a student that you can plan to take. Now, if you want to take machine learning as a concentration, then you can go for MSCS with machine learning as a concentration. But you want MS in machine learning as a major, so you take most of your courses taking machine learning as your subject. So you have those options available in the US as well. Okay, MS track for civil and mechanical engineering. So of course, you can go for MS in civil or MS in mechanical engineering, but students with civil engineering can also look at one of the MS in environmental engineering or transportation engineering, urban engineering, material engineering, coastal engineering, construction engineering, structural engineering. What is the benefit here? That when you're going for civil, I really do not have much idea about the Indian education, but I see that there can be few of them which give you material engineering. But if you look at in the US, you will have more of this universities can have a specific degree on your MS. Similarly, in MS in mechanical engineering, you can go for transportation system, energy, renewable energy, heat transfer, thermodynamics, combustion and the environment, biomedical and fluid mechanics, and aviation, aerospace. All those programs have a different MS or MSc degree in the US. Other than this, if anybody with the civil or mechanical engineering who plans to go for a tech management degree, a techno management degree, they can always go for MS in construction engineering management, or for mechanical, it can be just engineering management. And this is also one of the emerging job opportunities for a technical student not to take a further technical degree, but get into an engineering management degree. Okay, I hope that's helpful. What I want to be showing you in this slide is, if you look at the number of STEM jobs, I'm not sure if how many of you may be aware or may not be aware about the STEM jobs. Every engineering that we look at has a STEM designated, considering the fact MIS student or any engineering student or a computer software engineering student, your degree has an authorization to stay in the US after you graduate is for 3 years. How does that benefit it? The benefit is you have more chances of getting job opportunities, more chances of earning, and more chances of getting an H-1B, which is your next life after your education and optional practical training. So this talks about US, as I said, Bureau of Labor Statistics. You go to bls.gov and you can find out all such information about what is the life of my major in next 10 years. And I'll show you that in a bit. So if you look at the computer sciences related job, there are about 60% of the jobs in the US. Only STEM designated, you have 60% of the jobs coming in for the computing related. And you can see the division of software development job, support specialist job, network system administration, database administration. But if you look at the number of 26%, the number two is 26, 1/4 or the quarter of jobs in the STEM is for engineers. It is a lot, it is huge numbers if you look at the job opportunities for engineers. So that actually gives you some sort of understanding that if you are a more than a reasonable or more than an average student, then I think so you will have an opportunity to go and look at the job and you get it and you struggle for it. Maybe the chances of struggling for getting the job can be less. Considering the fact of COVID-19, I think we will need to talk more about the job opportunities because this data has been from 2012 to 2022. Next year, which is 2021, you will see a new data coming in for 22 to 32. Okay, so far this is the situation where life sciences, physical sciences is just 5%, mathematics is 3%, but you're more of a computer science and engineering. So any engineer who's listening to me or any computer science or IT students listening to me, you may have a better job opportunities in the US. Now, this is the job forecast for up to 2026 by Bureau of Labor Statistics. Also talks about the number of opportunities and the kind of salary which you can expect from the employers. And any civil engineer student who came across in touch with me in last few years, I was just telling them that for one job opportunities in the US, civil engineers. So either you are construction management or you're getting into civil engineering, you have the highest job opportunities available. And in fact, the highest amount of salary which you can expect. Okay, and then so for mechanical engineering and industrial engineering, so you can take a screenshot of this, but in case if you want to know more about the job forecasting, I think you can go for Bureau of Labor Statistics.gov, and I think you can be able to find out the number of job opportunities, and it also gives you a forecasting of if today is this many jobs, then by 5 years, next 5 years, it's gonna increase by 12%. So you can play around a little bit with bls.gov in order to find out more information. But if you look at civil, mechanical, industrial, electrical engineering, you are among the top four where there are better opportunities for you. One of my students graduated with Cal Baptist University and got a job of $1 lakh in New York. That was last year. So, and that was right after what I'm planning to tell you here is like if you look at this number of petrol in your salary, you like 8,000 a year. It is somewhere realistically average salary that the students after graduating are actually making. So this is the authentic data coming from the projection of the government, not with somebody any private companies. So just want to make sure that you understand this. Let's make your education affordable because it the education in the US can cost you from 30,000 to $50,000 and it can be even more. How do we make it more affordable? Um, I'm sure you must have learned about the graduate assistantship and or the types of assistantships are possible for students. And sometimes you know, but you don't know how you may apply for them. So we will talk about it a little bit. So let's talk about a difference between a scholarship and a grad assistantship. So scholarship is something that is very common for undergraduate students where they get up to 100% scholarships or 50% scholarships. It's unlike for graduate students because you're really not gonna get like you will not hear like out of 100 you made 60 of them got 100% scholarships. No, but out of 100 you can find out 60 of them got assistantships. Now, what is the difference? So scholarship is an award which has already been given to you looking at your credentials. And once you have received $5,000 scholarship, you saved like somewhere 3 lakhs. Here in an assistantship, you actually do work for can be decided by the professors. And you don't really need to have the scholarship as an award and then say that you can work on campus with officers or with the administrative people under the supervision and you can make some salary out of it which you can pay back to your school for your tuition expenses. You won't believe that students have actually paid for one semester and their entire 1 semester or 1 year or 1.5 year has been paid at the university by the kind of work that they are doing. It's competitive, so don't just believe that every day there are opportunities at the school. But if you look at the kind of assistantships that you can apply to, which is very competitive, you have graduate teaching assistantship, research, grad assistantship, pre-professional grad assistant, administrative assistantship. So either you work in teaching assistant, researching, helping the professor with their kind of research that they are making, or making a library research. You're doing a grad assistant, so you have multiple assistantship in a department, so you have more broader number of jobs that you might do. Sometimes you don't get there, but you work in the administrative department of the university in order to make some of the wages from the universities itself. So that's one way you can get some sort of understanding that the activities which you can do is like creating print material, developing website, doing library research, participating in faculty meetings. So you are somewhere assisting somebody under supervision of the professors or the administrative people. You are getting few assistantships where you can save some of your your tuition fee, and then you can pay them back, or maybe they consider it under your tuition fee so that you don't have to pay to the school. Now, one of the reason applying to the school, and this I always recommend to the students, that the first thing is, if you have gone to the website of any university, let's say you're applying to civil engineering, so they tell you that the deadline for fall intake is April 1st. But if you want to consider for assistantship, then you do your application as February 1st being your deadline. So anybody who wants to be considered for assistantship, who can apply, who has to apply even before then a regular admission. And why is that? Because they interview, they look at the profile, they need more time in order to give you the assistantships. Those are predefined. So let's say in my office, I already know I need a person who can help me with researching my this data. So that's one which you can get even before you will. Students know that you have been awarded as an assistantship, a GA assistantship of $12,000. Another kind of assistantship will be that you go and meet at the school and communicate with the new openings at the university, and then you apply, which you may get in your second semester. So you have predefined assistantships available which you can do. For that, you need to do your application even ahead of time. Okay, which you can do, but generally in our culture, we don't do things unless it's over your head. So you always do the application when it's the deadline tomorrow and I'm putting my application today. And I think I was one of them, so I can't really say this that others don't do this. So we need to really be ahead of time in order to consider for the assistantship. And I am sure that a student, the examples, if you Google that down there with assistantship, their degree only cost, the cost of entire MS degree after assistantship could be 4 to 5 lakhs, because they have worked at the school under someone's supervision and their entire tuition fee has been waived. Okay, so general FAQ is about, so today what I'm going to be talking about is like when a student really wants to know that, hey, I have my GRE 310, I've got my TOEFL 110, can I get into the top university? But they really look at so many other things that you want to have in your profile. So they look at the holistic approach, which means they don't just look at your one thing, which is your GRE and your GPA or your TOEFL. Of course, it is one of the few measures that they look at before they make a decision, but they also look at different qualities, and I'll be talking about those in this slide. So other than you are being a GRE 310, TOEFL 100, what are the qualities that you have that makes you unique? Give me an example that in coronavirus situation, have you been volunteering? And if you've been volunteering, did you save someone's life? File, because they will see that you have been involved into the community services. You're trying to do and trying to think about community and how do you make a better community. Because tomorrow you cannot just put in your essays or SOPs that I'm looking for this degree because I want to earn $1 lakh job. So you're just thinking about yourself, but you really need to have what can you do for the other people in the community, for the people in your country, for the people where you grew up at. So they look at all such things, and I'm going to be talking about that in my next slide as well. So students, one question that in Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and in other countries that you cannot change your major. So I've seen students from electrical engineering going to MIS, chemical engineering student, business analytics. No difference. But can you still go and change your major? In US, it's possible. It's just that you need two things. One, which you will let them know if you have worked in that particular industry. If not, then you need to show your intention about studying one or the other degree. So let's say if you're in electrical engineering and you plan to go for computer science or artificial intelligence, can you go in the US? You can change your major undoubtedly. And you can even get the admission, you can even get the visa. So changing major in the US is one of the unique thing which I find that students can change their major whenever they want to. Okay. How to cover the gap year, the work experience. So I'm sure this point doesn't go for you because you are already a student who are studying. But if you have work experience, or if you have the if you have not done anything but you have some volunteership that you have done, you try to mention everything because they look at you, no matter whether as an engineer you worked in XYZ firm for 3 months for an internship which it doesn't relate with computer science, they still want to see that. So ensure that when you are making your holistic, when they are looking at your profile at a holistic approach, they are finding you a very unique student, which is a better one than the other applications coming in. And I'll give an example about it with my next slide. Not always GRE or GMAT can give you a better scholarship or assistantships. If you want to apply to an assistantship as a research assistantship, you need to demonstrate in that you have been doing some research while you were a bachelor student with XYZ professor. And if you have done it, you need to mention that. Okay, so when you look at the university that you plan to apply, and the only thing that you need to see is like when they look at their admission requirements, then a university, what do they look into? What SOP are they looking into? Technically, the the practice is that you make one SOP for 5 universities and you send them, and when a reader reads it, they know that this is the same kind of thing that you may be sending it to others. But are you sounding so much passionate about studying in that particular university? And you know what happened is sometimes you don't get that support from anyone because of course it involves time, it involves cost, that you should be making 5 SOPs for 5 schools. But technically you should do this because they look at SOP or the essays are considered to be your face. So they are even important. So one way you have all your profile, another way they really want to see you as a student. So what they do is like when they read your SOP, they are visualizing you as a person and your plans of education as a person. And if they find it so normal, then they know that you are not maybe a perfect student at what they are looking at. And all this fight, all this work that we do is for the schools where the acceptance rate are less than 30%. So if you look at the top notch, the world's talent from all over the world apply to those schools. And if you want to sound like a great student, then you need to work in on your profile as a great student. Okay, show you are a versatile applicant. So being a computer science student, you've been a very good in your athletic, you put that in as well. So resume always tells, first question comes is what not to put that rather than what to put, because you need to really ensure that those points, because they take like 7 seconds. Even the employer in the US takes 7 seconds to read your resume, so you don't have to have your hobbies and your parents and date of birth and your address. They simply want to see that what qualities that you possess, and so far in your life what have you been accomplishing or what have you accomplished. So it's tricky that every university has their own SOP credentials that they really look in a student. So some says it shouldn't be more than 250, 500 words. And because we have made one SOP of 750, then we send it to everybody. And then they know that you are not even being serious about putting the application. So there are a couple of tips, but we can of course talk about one-on-one with the other opportunities. So let's talk about where are we today, 2020, not a good year for most of us, considering the fact that it has also impacted the study abroad industry as a whole. Uh, US being the most number of cases as compared to around the world. But of course, it has also brought some of the advantages. But of course, while I want to start from here and take another 5 minutes, 7 minutes to finish my presentation, I also want to give my condolences to all the family who lost the life of their loved ones, of which those were affected by COVID-19 coronavirus. So, so yes. So what happened is in and the next question was, so I woke up and I saw, okay, he wrote this, and then students were asking me, hey, what's going on with the H-1B and the Trump suspending immigration and the H-1B? Does it affect F-1 visa? So that was the first question that comes in my mind. So I put this. So this is my slide actually from 20th, 30th April. I was doing the session because this gives a lot of agitation to the students when you're planning to go. You've heard a lot of good things about the country as a whole, universities, assistantship, affordability, scholarships, but then you know what's coming through the president of the United States by suspending immigration, uh, uh, postponing the H-1Bs. So does it really affect the F-1 visa? So the answer is right now, no, because you contribute to the US economy if you're going as a student, because you pay like 30, $40,000 to the universities. So it doesn't affect F1 visa, but at this time, what I want to be putting at this point, like because in November there's election, and when somebody wants to reconnect with their Native Americans, again there are some steps to be taken. So they feel like the president is still thinking about them, then bringing other immigrants to the countries. But it usually cannot change at all. And even being a president, the system, the political system in the US is so tough that not a single man can make any decision. So it has been suspended, but hopefully after November, things will get back to normal for H1s, for the immigration green card holders. But there's one thing which I want to point out, that around the world, it's the economy which is bearing. The economy downturn is coming down, and it will take like another 1 to 1.5 to 2 years to get back to the situation normal. So, of course, anybody who's planning to go now or maybe next year, you will have next 2 years, and go for a 2 years degree than a 1 year degree at this time of time, because after 2 years, you have another 3 years to stay, and then by the time things will be better. What are the advantages are we
Yeah,
getting? Yes.
yeah, Abhi, just hang on. So students can't apply till November?
No, they can apply for the session. In fact, my next slide gonna talk about they're still accept. Oh, this slide says no. Okay. Next slide says that you can still apply for the you can still apply to the universities for this September in case if you plan to go. However, this will be automatically deferred to January intake. So the question here is, until November, you can apply. Until November, there is no problem. I am saying that if they take one decision in the US that brings to our Hindustan Times, TOI, it's on our front news that Trump has done this big thing. F1 student will be sent back to India if they don't enroll into the universities. University have to take the physical classes, then online classes. So that gives a lot of agitation, and just because of that agitation, you might think of going to some other country because US is screwing up nowadays. But that's not the real story, because this all news will last until November. If he wins or if Joe Biden wins, anybody wins gonna get back the situation to normal. And you do it, like, when we were fed up in India, we had people come and say "Achhe din aane wale," and we were like, yeah, we were hopeful, right? The same thing happened with Trump, and it's another political gimmicks which he's trying to play so that Native Americans connect with him one more time. So don't bother about the kind of news which are coming in, because F1 brings billions of economy to the US as a country, so it can harm a student at all in any situation. But the situation with the Black Lives Matters, COVID-19, and then this Trump administration's weird decision that they are taking, it's not good. But if you look at on the flip of the coin, which are the advantages, then you have universities are giving you GRE GMAT waivers, IELTS TOEFL waivers, application fee waivers, credential waivers. So you have all those situations at this point of time. And most importantly, and if any one of you want to talk to me one-on-one after the session, and if you want to see the offer letters coming for the students with $30,000 scholarship, so they have $70,000 fee, they got $30,000, $40,000 scholarship, up to 40% scholarship. It's because my first point, that student from China, which is the number one mobility to the world. China sends the number as a number one, a country where students highly go study abroad around the world, and then India comes on number one. Although UNESCO reported way back in 6 years now that by 2022, India will be the number one international mobility center. It means that from India, most of the students will be going and studying abroad than China. So at this point of time, when Chinese students are not being able to go abroad, forget US, any country that you go, you can expect more scholarships coming on your way. One of my students with a very normal profile, actually, I wouldn't say normal, very normal profile. It was more than a good profile. She got into a biomedical sciences degree in Johns Hopkins University. And when she got into Johns Hopkins University, the only thing that she could make it because there was less competition for this fall intake, considering the fact that the students from around the world maybe are not applying because of they are fearful about traveling or you know going to US at this point of time. So so universities are expecting good numbers of students from India. So it's a flip of story. When it started from China, people were looking with the big eyes on China, so they were expecting more Indian students going to be coming down. But now seeing more numbers coming from India as a coronavirus suspect, the thing is that at this point of time, the best suggestion that I can do, and I'm giving to my already offer holding student, apply, get your offer, defer it for next intake. And universities are trying to do their best in order to get you deferment for no cost, application fee waivers. If you cannot write IELTS, TOEFL, GRE, which is now home version is available, you have Duolingo English test. It's cost you like 3,500 rupees, $50. And $50, you can sit at your home like what I'm sitting right now, and I can write and I can get the score. And US universities are taking me. So you have the GRE not required for engineering students. Even the few top-notch schools are not asking for GRE because they know that the centers in India are still closed and students can actually go and write GMAT, GRE waivers, IELTS, TOEFL waivers. Just on giving a Duolingo English test, you can apply to the university and not only get admission but get a good scholarship. So two of my students who got 30% scholarship, deferred admission to next intake because they don't want to travel. And it's because of the safety issue, and which is perfectly fine. So you defer it for next intake, good to go, but apply now is what is the suggestion at this time point of time. Okay, exam centers around the world are closed as I mentioned this. So the deadlines has been extended. Best evaluation waiver has been given. Transcript sending to universities, no problem. E-transcript can be expected. A university takes 2 months for an admission decision. They give you admission decision in 7 days. A university costs you $50 to $100. Application fee waivers at the university. So you have all such examples that university is trying to give to students so that it doesn't hamper their education plans and of course to the university. Okay, so what next? In case if you plan to apply, you can communicate with Mr. Girish Kumar, our marketing manager from Bangalore. You can see Girish in the picture on the right side, and Mr. Mohammed Zaid, who is the branch head at the Bangalore office. His number and his email ID is mentioned there. This is our office. Anything that you need or any question that you have, I'll be more than happy to answer those to you. Of course, I cannot talk about one particular major with one particular profile or universities, but I can talk to you guys, or Zad or Girish can talk to you one on one on any question that you have about your profile. And I again want to thank SJEC to host this event. Thank you, Ragesh, thank you, Ms. Dinah, for your time. Thank you, students, for listening to me. If you have any question, I'll be more than happy to answer that. Just in a minute, I can also explain to you that we're just not only gonna get you information about the university and applying there, but we take a profile and then we assist the student until you get the visa and go there. And even when you go there and you have more questions and you need to know more about anything, then we are there to assist you with anything. Now, last thing is anytime when you plan to study abroad, you always think like if I can be connected with other students who are studying, who can give me more information on what's going on right now. So you can always tell us that, well, I am a civil engineer, want to go there. Can you have someone gonna get in touch with me, or can you share the details with me so that I can get in touch with somebody? I'll be more than happy to do so. Thank you.
Abhi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. As you said, online the students, those who applied now, and their classes will begin in the month of Jan 2021.
Mm-hmm.
So same condition is same COVID condition continues. Then are they starting the online classes, or how it will be?
Okay, very good question. So online options are available for students this fall, but now ICE, the Department of Homeland Security, which actually monitor your entry into the US, your exit from the US, your CPD hours, your OPD hours, so that USCIS can give you the working opportunity in America. What are they saying right now that actually impact the student who are already studying in the US is if you are taking online class, remaining in the US, then go back home and come back.
Yes,
There are physical options available. And why is
correct.
he saying this? And if you read that in a newspaper, you are against Trump or you are against the officials. But I understand the technicality behind it, that a student are anyway not allowed to take online options when they are in the US. Let's say if a student from India going to US and taking an online classes, then you don't have to because you can take that from India. So what Trump is saying is the rule, which is not a new rule, it has been for the ages, that you as a student, even if you go, you can take one semester, one online course, but other you have to be physically present in the university. So the question was, if this remains in January, you can again defer it to the next intake. And from here, there is no problem in taking the online classes. So when you are in your country, what you can do is like so let's say if students are ready to go, then first recommendation is they apply for this September 2020. They don't have to go to this September 2020. That's one thing. They can go January 2021. That's one thing. Okay, which is called a spring intake. Now, if they wish, they can take online classes. If they don't wish, they don't take online classes. Okay, but applying to September 2020 is where they can actually hold and secure scholarships. Give me an example. One of my student who actually planned to go to Australia with the in UNSW for business analytics, costing 90 lakhs. I got her into a university in US. She got 33% scholarship, and finally she got 40% scholarship. She got scholarship. She paid $500. She secured the place. She has accepted the scholarship. Now she will be going in January. So, and she has an option to take online class, which she's not taking. But because she applied in September, so scholarships are more of, I have more things, more pens here. But when you apply, I've got only one. That can be in January. But if I have 5 in September, you take one of them. So right now, if a student are ready with their all the documents, even if they plan to go to January, they apply for September intake. And they can defer it for January. Now the question comes, if the situation remains the same, then can it be deferred to the next intake? Yes, university will accept it. University will support you. Again, you have a choice to take an online class. If not, then you can defer it and go on next September. Now, even if a student takes an online class for one semester, go to the US for 1.5 years, can they still get 3 years of opportunity? Yes. You have to be in America for 1 year, 3 years of stay back. So even if you take 1 year online and 1 year in the US, you are still eligible for 3 years. But what is the advantage that you are getting? First, you save time. Second, staying there gonna cost you, like you will save another 7-8 lakhs, which can be your fee, or which can be 50% of your fee. So options are there. It's up to students how they want to take it. But deferment is anytime possible.
Okay. If students are going for articulation program, like within 1 year they can complete MS, will they get opportunity of 3 years to stay back?
Yes, 100%. So an academic year in the US is the 9 month, which starts from September or sometime August, and it goes up to May or May half, or sometimes May 30th. So June, July, and half, these are 2.5 months to 3 months are the summer vacation in the US. And that summer vacation are everywhere in around the world. So academic year is for 9 months. Unless if you're in articulation, studying here 1 year, going there for next year, that 9 months, if you're studying in the US for a full-time degree, taking 3 semester, a minimum 3 subjects a semester, you are eligible for 1 to 3 years of opportunities of OPT.
Okay.
Any other question that's not so boring? I was expecting more questions coming on the way.
Yeah.
This presentation.
uh, Students, do you have any questions? Would you like to ask?
Or you can contact us here. Yes. Here. Are there anything else that you have in mind?
Yeah. Now all are thinking about COVID-19, how to travel abroad, all these things, I guess.
Yeah. So see, the situation is not good. I would even being in this industry, I would not suggest you to go. NAFSA is one of the biggest conference which happens every year, and Mohammed Zaid, which you can see in the screen, is the brand ambassador of Study Metro going. I don't get a chance, but he goes to NAFSA. And this year it was in St. Louis, Missouri, but the NAFSA conference itself got canceled, and we understand that. And I feel like this time, this is the hard time. I would not recommend even you to travel, but it doesn't stop you from applying to the university, one thing. And then when situation gets normal, you will have an opportunity to travel. You can be taking online classes or taking an admission and deferring it to the next intake. That's the best option.
Okay. S- Also, you said GRE is not necessary right now
Hmm.
for applying yeah, masters.
Yes.
So yeah, actually, till now it was necessary must, and those who score good, they will get good scholarship.
Yeah, so they are being considered for scholarships even without this. In SOP, they are writing consider without scholarships, without exams. So they need to just let university know that for some reason they are unable to write the exam, and the GRE exam is being given a waiver, not from all the universities. So we hosted one event from 19 to 22nd June, and we had over 200 universities came on our way back to back 15-minute session. Like I did 1 hour session, they had 4 university in 1 hour, so 15 minutes each. And most of them have actually talked about, because students cannot write the exam, they are giving this waiver on them. But if you, so this is not an easy way. We don't just let student know take the easy way and take an easy way and go. But at this point of time, you will be considered. Some has GRE 300, you have no GRE. You both will be considered for admission and scholarship at the same time. So you have one advantage of, after not even having GRE, you can be considered by a university which has been always asking for a GRE, and even you can get assistantships even without having the GRE scores.
Okay, fine, cool. I think no more questions, I guess. All are clear with your presentation. Yeah. And those
Sorry if
who would like
I
to,
didn't cover any points, and student, you might expect some more things for me to aid or talk to you about it. You can always, have my number or talk to Zed or Girish, and we will arrange a call with you. The goal is to just assist you with it. Going, not going is another thing, but learning about the opportunities. I'm so glad and confident and happy to tell you that we have seen the transformation on the students that we work with. And of course, there are many people around the world are doing this work, but we have seen people's life changing in just 2 years by taking a right decision. Not necessarily that you will only be called successful when you go abroad or go to US. You can do a lot of things for your country, but um, many people in this world have said this, that at least once in a lifetime, at least some education could be taken abroad, as I did. And I am also going to tell you that if you look at Satya Nadella, Sundar Pichai, they have not just studied in the US, but they've actually taken two degrees, one in technical, one in management, and they all were engineers. After that, they've done their masters, and then they've taken into a management degree as well. You Wikipedia them. So like this, there are several examples, entrepreneurs, who have actually gone abroad, came back and done a lot for the country as well. So it depends on how you do. But at this point of time, when you're doing your bachelor's, considering that not many of them wants to go for PhD, so math is going to be your last degree. So like when Miss Diana told about MBA, but no, none of you or none of us have asked what's your bachelor's degree, right? Because I did my bachelor's in pharmacy in India, but I always use my last degree, right? So a last degree is an important one from wherever you do. So it's just trying to help you to get a right decision. Thank you so much.
yeah,
If you have anything, I'll be more than happy to talk to you one on one to give you any question, any answer, any question that you have.
I think, yeah, there are no questions. So,
Okay.
yeah, we will end up here. And thank you for joining us this webinar. and sharing with us insightful information. Thank you, Mr. Abby.
Thank you so much. Okay,
Yeah,
well, yeah.
thank
Okay,
you.
have
Bye.
a good one. Thank you,
Yeah,
everyone.
you too have a good day. Yeah, bye.